Gypsy Rose leaves social media again, but don't worry, she'll be back soon. So where do we start with the last bit of drama that Gypsy Rose has given us? Well, first, she accused many of us of bullying her. She thought she would teach us what cyberbullying was and we would stop with all the negativity. Then she added how we used to shout out Queen, but now we are just harassing her. Well, Gypsy, remember this?
Talk shit to me. Now, I have a right to stand up for myself if somebody wants to talk shit to me. Now being as I am on parole right now, I can't do that. People got me by the short and curlies on that one. But best believe I won't always be on parole.
Guys, I didn't upload the whole thing, so I'm redoing it. This is audio from Gypsy warning her haters that she won't always be on parole. That's really concerning, especially coming from somebody like Gypsy Rose, who's a murderer. She needs to remember, she is serving her sentence still. She is serving it in the free world under supervision. And you cannot make veiled you-know-whats to the public. Girl, especially you. And her saying things like this are particularly unnerving when you put into the equation the things that were recently said in a live regarding what one of her fans would be willing to do for her. Should somebody, quote unquote, pull up on her, I believe was the wording. But Gypsy and her associates can continue to say things like this to the public, but you better believe that there are people who are going to report this. Sooner or later, I'm sure Gypsy is going to be held accountable for the reckless things she is saying.
Then Gypsy made sure we knew she was happy to finally have a court date set for her divorce from Ryan. What a strange thing to post. Content update. I will no longer be posting personal content on this public platform. Since I was released, I have shared with supporters my hardships and achievements through the lens of social media. However, I find myself at a crossroads that leads me to desire a more private life, sharing with only family and close friends these special moments. I greatly appreciate all the support and anyone who has ever stood by my side. I will keep posting updates on my new memoir, My Time to Stand, as well as our seasons with Lifetime TV. In addition to this public account, I have a private TikTok and Instagram at Cajun Heart of Mine and will only accept requests from those I personally know. This decision was made with consideration to the well-being of my own mental health, that as well as the overall well-being of my family and daughter. We are all doing very well and are in good spirits, excited for our futures moving forward. Thank you. Interesting how she made the background purple, just like a certain dinosaur we know. Comments on Gypsy's purple post on Reddit. Achievements? What achievements? Cheating on your husband and publicly humiliating him is an achievement, I guess. Does this have anything to do with that parole comment she made the other day? I was wondering the same. Remember when she was with Ryan, her PO said she had to delete her social media. Well, she didn't because she said it was her job because she was an influencer and an author, which is all fine and dandy, except she wasn't really doing either one. My bet is her PO did step in and said no more personal stuff on her platforms. If she's this so-called an author, then promote your books and your Lifetime series. Lord knows, the influencer went out the window with her first GIM and OTD videos. I mean, she couldn't even pronounce the brand she was using, let alone apply the makeup correctly. This chick is clueless in basic life skills. How the hell does she honestly expect a big following being an influencer? Your mental health. What about the mental health of the autistic man whose life you ruined? Or his mother's mental health? The worry for her son that led to relapse, them death, her husband and other child that now have to be without her and Nick? Or what about the mental health of your mother, being brutally jabbed to D by a stranger while she slept in her own home? F your mental health.
Parole is not happy with Gypsy Rose, and she's feeling the heat. Okay, so clearly Gypsy Rose's inflation of her parole. The mounting evidence can no longer be ignored, and Parole knows that. And her recent post where she says that she is no longer going to be posting anything personal on social media for her mental health was not her choice. I find myself at a crossroads that leads me to desire a more private life, sharing with only family and close friends these special moments. No, it's because Parole made you. I greatly appreciate all the support and anyone who's ever stood by my side. I will keep posting updates on my new memoir, My Time to Stand, as well as our seasons with Lifetime TV. Yes, because that is in connection to your gainful employment. Interesting here, okay? In addition to this public account, I have a private TikTok and Instagram at Cajun Heart of Mine and will only accept requests from those I personally know. This decision was made with consideration to the well-being of my own mental health, that as well as the overall well-being of my family and daughter. We are all doing very well and are in good spirits, excited for our futures moving forward. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about that. Again, not her choice. She was told by Parole. They are letting her stay on for anything in connection to her gainful employment, like her book or her show, but they don't want her on personally. We'll get to that in a minute. So here are some of the recent things she's been doing that the parole office is not happy with. Contacting former inmates. So a former inmate friend of hers posted something pretty recently, I want to say within the last 6 weeks maybe, about Gypsy contacting her. And in Louisiana, parolees cannot have contact with felons. I'm not going to post it because last time I did, I got in trouble, but it was something not verbatim, okay? You're just jealous. I came out here and I'm doing very well and you are not. That's what it was. But the major one is the threat. This can land a person in complete revocation. Remember the I won't always be on parole video in regards to standing up for herself. So if she needs to not be on parole to stand up for herself, that right there is clearly a threat. But the cherry on top was her cohorts doubling down on Alive, saying that they will permanently delete people for her. Yeah. So this is like a direct, okay? The parole office gets inundated with calls and emails about Gypsy. And they're just flooded with this information. But I think recently some of this information got directly to the source and they are reviewing it. And they've seemingly done nothing until now. And I'm going to get to why I think that is. So back to her private account due to the parole office restricting her social media use. So she has this private account, Cajun Heart, for people that know her, okay? She's still going to get her content out, but this is her way of pushing out her content by proxy. She'll employ her BFF and her stands that she's accepting to do this for her. You know, Gypsy always has other people do anything that has a risk for her. And on this private account, she'll still be able to receive TikToks that are about her, and she'll be able to respond to them on her burner accounts. And there are several. So why is the parole office inching towards holding Gypsy accountable now? Here are some theories. The first one, it might be political. They might have felt like if they revoked her in the past, they would get some type of public backlash that could potentially harm the 2024 local government election. But that's over, y'all. Or her parole attorney would dig around and highlight that the parole office possibly hasn't been doing their job, hasn't been doing what they were supposed to be doing to hold Gypsy accountable until all of a sudden with the pressure from the public. It could also be because it would shine a spotlight on the justice system that they messed up, particularly the sympathetic media and the politically driven district attorney Dan Patterson, and that she wasn't what they made her out to be. As the investigation was unfolding, which wasn't even complete, by the way, when they gave her her 10-year plea deal, they knew they messed up. They knew, but it was too late to turn back. And this is why they had her as a witness at next trial for the defense and not as a state witness. Lastly, could another agency be involved? Could a higher agency be involved investigating this and things are just kind of at a standstill? What people need to realize is Gypsy Rose is still serving her sentence. And I think people forget that. Yes, she's out in the free world, but she has to abide by certain conditions and stipulations, and she is under supervision. The parole office is feeling the pressure and putting it on her. The evidence is too blatant to disregard.
So, what is my take on all this? I think her going off social media is not her own decision, but possibly something she was forced to do by 3 different places. First, I agree with the lady from Mommy Needs a Nap. Gypsy's parole officer has told her to get off social media and only be on to promote your book and your television show. Secondly, I think her divorce attorney told her to stay off social media talking about Ryan, especially after her rant the other day saying, "He's still my husband." That would make sense since the divorce isn't yet finalized. And last, I believe the Lifetime Network has asked her not to talk so much about her private life on social media because then no one will care about watching Life After Lockup. Why bother when we already know what happens? No matter who is behind it, I'm sure Gypsy will not be gone for long. She has disappeared a few times before and always come back quicker than expected, which could be a bad thing or a bad thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you all.